Yo, what up, Axie fam? Hey, we passed 25 subs. That's pretty legit. I wanted to talk about something. I'll leave some information right off to the side over here. So, one of the comments was saying that HotButt and 3 burn. So, we're gonna do a representation of what that would look like and how powerful both HotButt and Goda can be. So here, the green cards, these will represent our burns. So we have 9 of them. This is assuming the team is a triple Goda, triple HotButt team. Okay, so see how powerful it can represent the burn. These 3 black represent the Godas because of the void. And then this is our opponent's deck. 21 cards. We have 1 for each body part, and then 1 for the Axie type. That's what I'm assuming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 for the Axie type. And the colors of these don't really matter. These are my Dice Masters decks. Anyway, so let's assume we draw 5 cards every turn and we have 3 energy. So we can kind of see what the turns are like. Now let's bring up HotButt and this Goda real quick. HotButt says shuffle 3 burns into your opponent's discard pile. Goda, shuffle 1 void into your opponent's discard. So they both operate the same way. They're both going to go into the discard, so we can illustrate what that would look like, give or take. So our opponent starts off with 21. We're assuming everything in the deck of his costs 1 energy. So our opponent has 3 energy. So he's going to use 3 cards every turn, give or take. So he's going to use those. End of his turn, these will go discarded. So the turn 1, turn 2. Ooh, what if 7 cards are in your opening hand? Let's stick to 5 cards. That's gonna be our assumption number 1. Every card in our opponent's deck costs 1. 21 cards in the deck. So you draw 5 cards every turn and you have 3 energy. So uses 5, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. So going into turn 5, because we would have gone through all of our deck except for 1 card as well, that means we're going to be shuffling in 9 HotButts, assuming we've used every HotButt we draw and every Goda we draw. So now our opponent's next draw is going to be 5, 10, 15, these 20, plus our extra 3 Godas, plus our 3 HotButts. So these are the extra cards that our opponent is going to be receiving in their reshuffle. So this draw is going to have to contain 4 cards from the discard pile. So 1 card that we haven't seen yet, and I'm going to do a quick block here. Okay, boom. So our opponent gets this card and 4 more. 2, 3, 4. Turn 5, it did not have any effect on our opponent. Turn 6, though. This turn 6 is pretty important. Okay, so I'm assuming that Origins is going to be a very back and forth game. So this turn has resulted in our opponent only drawing 3 cards. We don't know how this damage is going to be dealt. If it's going to be like to all of his Axies, will you take 2 damage for each on everyone? That seems pretty fair. His Axies take a little bit of damage, and then the next turn, so this is, the question is, did these come out of the deck or do they reshuffle in, right? Because that would be really important. Because this is our opponent's discard pile now, right? As the turns progress. Super detrimental to our opponent. So they have 2 cards that they cannot cast. So they're only going to be casting these 3 cards. But because this will destroy 1 energy, basically these 3 cards are dead. So now our opponent's only gotten 2 cards that turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another brutal turn. So automatically this card consumes 1 of the energy, so they only have 2. And then they have 2 cards that are HotButt that they can't cast, so they have 2 cards, so they can only cast these 2 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. 2 cards. This one destroys 1 energy, so he's only going to be casting 2 cards. You know, the assumption that every card that he has is 1 energy. So he starts off with 3, boom, this destroys it. The only thing is, I think the void card banishes itself, so I think these ones won't be in the deck. 3rd rotation. So Goda banishes itself, but HotButt doesn't. So right now our opponent, his deck size is huge. He's gone from 21, he received our 9 HotButts to 30 cards, and our 3 voids to 33 cards versus our 21. So his draws are going to be really all over the place. I think HotButt and Goda are both going to be a lot more powerful than people realize. If you're reducing your deck size with Goda and Nemo, or Telescope, I prefer Telescope over Nemo actually. You have like a mix of plant and aqua cards. You can use your aqua card, use Telescope to draw extra aqua cards and reduce your deck size. So you're using more and more and more HotButt. If the HotButts, the burn cards, if they continue to reshuffle into the discard pile, in theory, eventually your opponent's ratio of burn cards to non-burn cards will be super skewed. These aren't assigned to an Axie, so these won't get removed from their reshuffle deck. As the opponent, fewer and fewer Axies available, HotButt will affect the game more and more. Say you have an Axie knocked out. We need to remove 7 cards from the deck, representing that they only have 2 Axies remaining. So now their deck with these HotButt, their draws could look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. You're just messing up their draws. I think that's a good way to visualize how those kind of cards, like goo, like imagine if it's goo is like the same type of thing. You know, the only difference about the strength of Goda is they have to cast these, right? These cards are an uncastable card. This is a card that they have to cast. And I think Jinx will be something similar. Not too sure. Maybe Jinx makes them randomly discard a card when they draw it or something like that. We're not too sure. Anyways, this is going on way too long. Thanks for watching the video. Hit that like and subscribe button down there. Way over there. And then we'll see you in the next video. I'm glad the season's over, that's for sure. I ended up 183,000th place or something.